Hello, sunshine! This is Ocean Week, so we are going to be reading ocean books this week, and I'm going to read to you today this book called A House for Hermit Crab. And I've never read this book before, believe it or not. This is an Eric Carle book. He's the author and the illustrator, so we are going to read this book together. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new home soon. See that shell? The little crab can go right in that shell. It's hard and it protects him, and that's his house. But when he comes out of it, he has no protection against birds and fish. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the right house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looked so, well, plain, thought Hermit Crab. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It is so plain. It needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. What a great idea! In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the seafloor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. Aww, he's decorating. That is so fun. It's like planting a garden on his shell. I like this Hermit Crab. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked the crusty coral. Gingerly, that means carefully, gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. What a smart Hermit Crab. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris, leaving a neat path behind them. How tidy and hard-working you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and clean my house? I would, offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. Man, I need to get me a snail to come and clean up my house. That's a great idea. I do love snails. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had hard, prickly shells. Or needles, sorry. How fierce you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to protect my house? I would, answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. This is a very ingenious little hermit crab. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. Oh, it's so dark in here, thought Hermit Crab. How dim it is, murmured the sea anemone. How gloomy it is, whispered the starfish. How murky it is, complained the coral. I can't see, said the snail. It's like a nightmare, cried the sea urchin. Oh no, what are they gonna do? They're not liking this forest. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up our house?" "I would," replied one lanternfish, and swam over near the shell. Aww. It's got like a front porch light now. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. "How sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearranged you?" "Not at all," answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claws and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," cried Hermit Crab. Oh, that is so neat. He's got a porch, he's got a fence, he's got decorations, just like your house. In November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a little bit too small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another, bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, and the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. "They have been so good to me," thought Hermit Crab. "They are like family. How can I ever leave them?" Oh no, I wonder what he's going to do. What do you think? What could he do? I don't know. In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I've outgrown my shells," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I've outgrown my house too," answered the hermit crab. "I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends." "I promise," said the little crab. Oh, what a nice friend. He's sharing. He's passing stuff on that he doesn't need anymore. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. "I couldn't stay in that shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big, empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain. "Sponges," he thought. "Barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric seals. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started." Oh, that is such a fun book. So he moved out of his house as he didn't need it anymore, and he gave it to someone else. Just like you, maybe sometimes you outgrow toys and you don't need them anymore, and you go through and your mom says, "Do you need this?" And you're like, "Well, I don't really play with it anymore," and you can pass your toys on to another friend, just like the hermit crab gave his house to another littler hermit crab. I hope you guys had a great day. I enjoyed reading this book with you. See you soon.